All right. Welcome back to the $1 Billion Condo Manager Show. I'm Kevin Puckett. I am founder CEO of Black Bricks Condo Management Brokerage, where we are a white glove level management company only serving condo co-op HOA. So let's get into it. Right now, this video, we're going to rethink condos, who they're actually right for and who they're not right for, and what to think about before they buy. So, first things first, and this is actually part of an eight episode segment that we're actually going to flow through, starting with what I feel is just so important is the actual mindset of a person and of people when they are buying condos, especially these types of condos. We're talking about Manhattan specific. We're talking about Manhattan, but these principles are good for Manhattan, Brooklyn, Jersey City, Miami, San Francisco, any of the tier 1 cities, any one of the tier 1 areas. These are good. These are very much the same. So why do so many people buy condos and then later realize you're like, oh, I bought the wrong asset. I bought the wrong thing. And here's why that is. This is what I've experienced. I've been in real estate for more than 2 decades, both as an owner, of course, as an agent broker, definitely as an investor owner, and of course, as an owner user, resident owning and living in. I've been doing this for a very, 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 very long time. So in my experience with clients, clients for brokerage clients, with my clients on the management side, both investors and residents, as well as just friends and people, acquaintances in my network. What I've been able to find out, which is why this is a topic I feel is important. People tend to treat condos mentally like houses. They tend to say, a house has this aspect and I want this in the house, but and I'm buying a condo, but and this is what I'm going to use it for. And then they get a condo and they realize there's different limitations, there's different pros and cons that they truly didn't consider while making that purchase. Now, I'm not one of these birds, obviously, who's going to be like, oh, don't buy a condo, stay away from HOAs. I don't like them, they're so bad. There's condo presses and supports. That's bonkers nonsense, BS nonsense, garbage crap. And it's from people who really should not be even in the condo co-op HOA space whatsoever, which is why I'm addressing this. So people who look at condos as the same thing, if they're making a decision in their mind to say, should I buy a house? Should I buy a condo? Is it house or condo? Oh no, it's so difficult. You're already wrong. If you're considering getting a house, the condo shouldn't even be a part of your thing. Don't even think it's not even a part of here. The only place where I can see where this can get a little bit more confusing is when you're looking at a townhouse, which is under an HOA, versus houses in that same region or same area that are standalone and not under a HOA. That is something that, well, yes, now you have a different consideration, but only slightly. Here's why. When it comes, and this is why I'm saying you should totally separate the two. They are not the same asset, though they can be used in similar ways. I explain it to people like this. You can take a train, you can take a boat, you can take an airplane to your destination. What is the deciding factor in which of these modes of travel that you're going to choose? Well, what's your destination? If your destination is right down the street, well, it doesn't make sense to take a plane. I mean, you probably could, but it's going to be the least efficient way, although it seems the fastest. It's the least efficient to get to someplace close. Taking a train seems very comfortable. It's nice. It's comfy. You don't have to worry about being in the air. But if you have a destination that's very far away, it's probably least efficient. And I can't remember what the third thing is I said, but doesn't matter. I think you get the point. Is evaluate first your own personal needs for your home. Now, if you're thinking of getting a single family home, a standalone home, then your needs are going to be based usually on space, on That's usually what the separator is. The amount of space, meaning a yard, meaning the land. This is very important to people who are house shopping, who want houses. I've been a house owner one time as a house, as a standalone. Although I do have what would qualify as a house, but it's actually a multifamily that I actually live in. I own it, live in it, but again, it's not a single family house, that standalone house thing. I've done that before. Not for me. But people who like that, they're normally looking for that situation because they want to customize. They want to have, I don't know, house people shit. I don't know what house people love, but I see TV shows. I really like Modern Family. They have a lot of shit in their garage, a lot of I don't know, garage people stuff. They have a lot of that shit. And hey, bless them, way to go. But again, like I said with the modes of transportation, you have to decide what you're into. One of the biggest considerations in this is like, what do I want? Is what's so important to me? Is being able to have all that stuff available to me, have this space, have a lawn, have all this, the house stuff. Is that what's important for me and what's in my life right now? That's the question to ask. Not, should I get a house or condo? Because once you're looking at a condo co-op or something in an HOA, you're looking at an entirely different type of life. You're looking at a life that values different things. It values convenience. All right, what is the convenience? Usually the convenience is going to be something like close proximity to major work centers, usually in the downtown city. We're talking about Manhattan. I was trying to be a little bit more but let's keep it real. Manhattan, all right? You could live in Jersey, you could live in Connecticut, you could live in Westchester. All these are awesome places, beautiful, great places, great people, great schools. But that commute is a pain in the butt. It is a pain in the butt, and I know it intimately. Why? Because I did spend a number of years as a black car chauffeur for CEOs, C-suite executives. So I was at their homes. I'd be there at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., sometimes 3 a.m. to pick them up just so that they can get to the office without having to deal with the commute, because that commute can cost you hours and hours. So that's the trade-off. If you want those places, you're thinking of that. Whereas when you're thinking of something in the city, condo, co-op, your first thing is, proximity. Save time in my life. Okay, what are some other conveniences? The other conveniences are normally the upkeep and care. Now, this is where we can get back into just regular HOAs, which you will also find in these surrounding areas closer to the city. So like speaking of in Jersey City, you have a lot of HOAs, townhome communities. In Secaucus, New Jersey, you have very beautiful, wonderful townhome communities all along the Hudson River. They call it the New Jersey Gold Coast. In New York City, of course, well, in Manhattan, we're already talking about that. But then when you go to Brooklyn, you still have the same type of situation. You have right along the Hudson, not the Hudson, what's the other one? The East River. You have some great situations there. And even though they are standalone, they're townhouses, they don't fully operate the same way a condo or co-op does, it's still an HOA. So you still have limitations, you have things, but again, you're getting that convenience of an entity is taking care of it. You're paying these common charges, your maintenance fees, you're paying into it, and from those fees that you're paying, all of the maintenance, it's not just fixing, the little fixes around. It's just, the care of the structure, the care of the exterior, meaning not just the physical exterior of the building, but also the walkways, the sidewalks, any shrubbery or grass or greenery, if there's a pool, anything like that, any of the amenities being taken care of, being maintained. Versus, of course, when you have your own home, standalone home that's non-HOA, the single family house, that's all on you, but that's really what you want. That's really, really what you want. I don't think anyone who buys a standalone house is saying, darn it, I really wish there was somebody who's taking care of everything in my house. Most people who go that route do have some desire to make those decisions. And so that takes me to my third thing is level of control. This is probably the easiest indicator and predictor of, is a condo, co-op, or an HOA style property even something for you to consider? If you're a person that just wants control, needs to control, I need to be in control of of the decisions around my home and my housing, I need to be in control of it at all times. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. And I doubt those people are even watching this. But for the people who do tune into this and maybe thinking about this, you're already likely a person who does not need control in that area. If you are if you're in the market for a condo or a co-op or another HOA property, my characteristic profile analytics what I've done in the math, I've asked ChatGPT. I'm making a joke. I have, but I've actually done actual nerdy level research that you wouldn't do because it's probably boring to everybody else. But characteristically, you're ambitious, you are career focused, career driven, you have a very active social life and social lifestyle, meaning you like to be out and about and go do things. So if you are looking at this, you likely already hit those three things, and it follows that people who hit those three things are less inclined to be very controlling on those home elements. Like I want to be in control of who's cutting the grass, or if the grass is getting cold, or who's taking care of the swimming pool, or what's happening in the doors. And it's going to be, not that you don't care, it's just lower on your. So that's a first thing. I really wanted to knock that out first, just to talk about, don't even compare the two. Now, houses are independent assets, as we already covered, whereas condos, co-ops, and other HOAs, these are not independent assets. They exist inside of an ecosystem. Now, why is this ecosystem, why does it exist first? And then secondly, why is that a good thing? Because I know what you see on YouTube. I know it. It's mostly people shitting, pooping, crapping. I don't know which word I'm gonna stick to in this video, but it's mostly people just pissing and moaning all about HOH. Oh, they're so bad. Oh, there's corruption. Oh, there's bad stuff. Usually what you're seeing on the news is an extreme, okay? You're seeing extremes. We don't live in extremes though, do we? No, we don't. No, not a little bit. 90% of our lives and 90% of everything that's going to happen in our entire lives, in every area of our lives, is going to be average. Yeah, it's going to be average. It's going to be close to the mean. It's going to be close to the mean, close to the median. It's not going to be extremes. So, although you're hearing and you're seeing like some of those horror stories happening down in Miami, Florida, with the boards going at each other, some of them physically getting into fights, or you're seeing what's happening in Toronto right now with their condo oversupply situation, and the difference between the agreed for purchase price and the actual appraisal values right now. And you say, oh no, condos are, it's so scary. What am I gonna do? Somebody let me off this ride. That's extremes. These are extremes. These are not common situations. And in different videos, I'm actually going to talk about those in depth. So you'll be able to get a real clear grip on what's happening, what's going on with these things. But for this, suffice it to say, these are extremes. These are not things to really be banking your decisions on, or even spend much time being too concerned about. There are things within this ecosystem to be concerned about. Now, what did I gonna say? Yeah. In this ecosystem, we already mentioned some of the benefits is that you're usually in proximity to the city. We're talking about Manhattan, so you're in the city. You're in it. You have a condo charges, they call it CCs, or maintenance fees, same thing, interchangeable. Common charges, CCs, common charges, or maintenance fees, exact same thing. These are the fees that are these are just in addition to when you purchase your condo, your co-op, or your townhome. You have your mortgage unless you pay cash, which is extremely common in Manhattan. It's just to pay cash. But actually, even with a lot of the buyers that pay cash, a lot of them will just refinance into a mortgage as well and recoup their cash. And cash is really just used as a bargaining chip, as like, okay, well, we'll be able to take action very quickly and move fast on this purchase so that everyone's happy. We get what we want, you get what you want as a seller. And so we've paid cash. And then we go to the bank, to our lender, and say, okay, we'll finance, give me a mortgage on this house. And so that is extremely common in Manhattan, and it's becoming more common in other places. But point is, when you have that mortgage, you have your mortgage, you have your taxes, that is one thing. That common charges maintenance fees is its own thing. Now that's where a lot of people get caught up, and they say, "Oh, it's more expensive." Oh. Let me tell you. And if you want, make sure you send me an email or put a message in the comment thingy, and I will send you. I'll send you our own analysis that we did showing specifically these areas. This is Manhattan and the greater New York area focus. So by greater New York area, being specific, let's say Northern Jersey, Westchester, Connecticut are the surrounding greater area places. And what we did was put together, okay, well, for comparable homes in Manhattan, so you're talking about the $1 million and up price range for these condo co-op townhomes, and comparable for the area. What are the costs for single family standalone? What are the cost differentials? And what you're going to see is it is more expensive to have that single family standalone house. Biggest reason is that because that was a great sentence. Biggest reason is because in a condo co-op, when you're paying those maintenance fees, those common charges, that's split up between however many homes. So if it's 5 homes, 10 homes, 100 homes, those maintenance fees are split up evenly based on square footage of the home. So a person with a 2-bedroom is not paying the same common charges as a person with a 4-bedroom home. It is based on the square footage, but due to that square footage, it is broken up equally. So whereas, of course, as I already mentioned, when it comes to your standalone, it's all on you, baby. It's all on you. So this is, again, another reason why I say these are just totally different things to not even put them in the same category. You don't consider both. You look at one and how it would best serve your needs. And when you're looking at that one and you're seeing your needs are more in line with that, that completely cancels out the other. I think it's so important to have that type of realization and clarity for yourself, because once you're in it, emotions come into it to even greater extent. Once you actually buy clothes and you move into your home, whether it's a condo or a single family house, emotions come into it in a much different way. I am a long-termer. What does that mean? It means that when it comes to investing, when it comes to owning, when it comes to serving my clientele, I prefer long-term. I strongly prefer long-term things. I don't love short-term things. I don't love them. We do them. Of course, we're brokers. We broker, we'll help you sell, buy, and lease. But these are transactions, and they're awesome, and they're great. They're a necessary step in it. But my passion really kicks in for the long term. So for my investor clients, we're with you, helping you find it. We're with you, helping you fund it, and we are then would take over as the operators. And for investors, and there's other videos we'll talk about this, but that's really where your ROI is made, is in the operation. Serious investors know this. Serious investors know that it's not so much my little penciled out analysis, and I bought it at a good basis. Got a good time to buy. Those are all great things if you can get that side of it. But that's only at best maybe 50%, 40 to 50% of your ROI. The other 50 to 60% of your ROI is your long-term operations. That's, again, another video. But my point is this, is that when it comes to I said a whole lot to say this, is that, when it comes to the maintenance fees, your common charges versus not, which is a place, again, a lot of people get hung up on, is that it is still more expensive than than having a single family house. And a lot of people don't get that, because when it's a single family house, you don't have a monthly block of money going towards your maintenance. You don't think about it. You just pay it. You have the lawn cut. You have the pool taken care of. You have the roof fixed. You have something changed. You have this thing. And this is happening constantly. Anyone who's a homeowner or has experienced being a homeowner will completely attest to it's constant. It is a constant spend. Owning a property is a constant, never-ending spend. And when you look at that accumulation at the end of your year, you'll say, oh, wow, I've spent $40,000, $50,000 maintaining my home over this year. And if you do that same math and you'll say, okay, we'll break that down to the year and divide it by 12, you're going to say, oh, crap, wow, I spent $100 a month or $4,800 a month versus the common charges, which are still going to be, as I said, usually, well, it depends on the property, depends on all these things. But if you pencil it out to the same price, the same level of pricing, the same type of home based on price, you're going to see that the common charge is actually going to be less than what you're going to spend per year. Next, now back to these ecosystems. That the board, the condo boards, the co-op boards, which is a slight difference between the two. The HOA board. HOA board is really the same. Here's the thing. A lot of people get really nervous about the reality of dealing with a board. So let's jump into that really fast. When it comes to condo boards are, it's actually your neighbors, it's your fellow owners. There's no hierarchy. It's something that's usually run for, or actually if it's a brand new development, it's usually based on the first number of buyers, and the developer, before he turns it over, says, okay, well, we need a board who's going to be on the board, and it's basically a hand holding up your hand process. Say, all right. And if you've got a great developer, they will give you a system and establish. I mean, by law, they're going to have to give you the bylaws. They'll generate the bylaws and have that ready for you. But any additional training, they're not really on the hook to do. Really good developers will usually give you some type of information. They can give you some books, or they can give you some materials to help you get your board on track and learn how to operate. That's not usually what happens, unfortunately. So imagine it's just a person like yourself who gets together with a few other people who all chosen to purchase in this community, and you decide, okay, well, we are going to uphold the bylaws, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure that our investment and that our community stays as great as it is the day that we move in. That's all a board is, a condo board. Co-op boards work essentially the same, except there is a difference. Now, here's the difference. Condo boards have almost no discretion over who gets to buy into the building, whereas co-op boards have 100% discretion on who gets to move into the building. Now, one of the big things you'll hear in the New York market, you've probably heard it in Sex and the City, you've heard it if you're watching the Netflix shows, like I know Sarah's got a show and the other shows. You've been hearing that, okay, well, when it comes to a co-op board, they can disapprove you for anything, for any reason. And that's true. But the most common reasons center around finances. I think the biggest, most common one is just people failing to be open with their finances. And people who have that issue or would run into that are going to say, well, why do you need to know everything? Why do you need to know all of this? This is my private, personal, financial information. Why do you need to know this? The reason why they need to know it is because you all are tying yourselves together to a massive financial instrument. A co-op is slightly different from a condo. A condo, you own your entire unit. You own a unit in a building. At a townhouse, you own a unit in a planned development community, or it could still be a high-rise and be townhomes that have around it. But for a co-op, technically you own shares in a corporation. So it is slightly different. And the operations and mechanics behind that, not physical mechanics, but the legal mechanics behind that are slightly different. So when it comes to them needing to know about your finances, it really is for your benefit. It's not to be humbling. It's not to be prying. It's really so that they can make a great evaluation of, okay, are you going to be a good fit for this building? Are we putting ourselves at risk by adding you into our community? Or are we strengthening the community by adding you? That's really what the determination's coming into. It's not, for the most part, they're not trying to decide, oh, you're a bad person, a good person. I mean, there are different factors that can come into play, things like your pets or your lifestyle, not like the legal parts of your lifestyle, but lifestyle is in like, you like to play loud music all the time. And, that could be something where if you let them know that, then that could be a turnoff. But the biggest factors that come into play are usually just your finances and your financial discretion. But that's really it. And honestly, I'm a fan of how co-ops work. Being a manager of condo buildings and condo HOAs, I tell you, if condos were able to behave more like co-ops in that aspect, and just how the mixture of people, the careers, the demographic, if there was a little bit more alignment between the ownership, you would see healthier, stronger buildings, just like you see in the co-op world. Co-op buildings tend to be in great condition. And these are some of the oldest buildings in Manhattan. All along Fifth Avenue, right across from Central Park, the museum, and all this. These co-ops were built at the turn of the century, turn of the 20th century, 1920s, 1910s, 1930s. These buildings were built and they are immaculate and they are amazing. Whereas you'll find some buildings, not so much in Manhattan, but as you go into Brooklyn, you go into Jersey City, you'll have some developments that are less than 20 years old and are unfortunately, in less than best shape. And there are obviously a number of factors that come into play that could, be why that is. But one of the bigger factors are going to be how well funded the HOA is to be able to take care of things. And that's one thing that I admire so much about co-ops is that they really take their funding and their finances extremely serious. And when it comes to co-op world, to the condo side of things, that really can depend more on, a lot of people want to blame the board, but coming from the side of management, it really has to do with the strength of your management partner. And that is going to be another segment. I can't wait to get to that. But let's get to the last bit here. Is your building reputation can affect the resale. Whereas, again, in the house world, the house is the house. The things that are pushing the house are itself, but the overall community, the schools, the makeup of the community, all the stuff that goes into being a house buyer and wanting to live in these communities and having a house. The square footage that you're going to get with the house, and then also the acreage if you want a lot of land. A lot of people at this level, they love living in these palatial estates where there's so much land that it is a lot of land. So the decision is not so much based on one factor. Whereas in the condo co-op world, the building itself has a reputation. It has a reputation in the community, and that's really what matters a lot. Is people who come into this particular portion of Manhattan, they'll be in Upper East Side, they'll be in Yorkville, they'll be in Tribeca or in Soho. They can ask people, and they're talking to the agents and other brokers who are taking them around and showing them buildings. Let's say, well, what do you think about this one? And it has a reputation. Every building has a reputation. What does that reputation consist of? It consists of level of upkeep in the building, how easy or difficult it is to deal with the board in those buildings, how easy or difficult it is to deal with the management company that the building has chosen to hire and work with. And these are factors that they're not static, as in they can change over time, of course, but they do come into play when it comes to reselling your home when the time comes. And so these are factors, like I said, when it comes to buying and owning as a condo co-op HOA owner, what you have to consider and what you got to think about are just totally different from the house world. And that's why I think it is such a good thing to be able to tell yourself and look very clearly and say, okay, what are my personal identifying characteristics as a long-term person, as a person, if you're leaving the apartment world and you haven't been a homeowner yet, or you were in college and you're now in the workforce and you're considering, well, you've been renting or roommating, but now you're like, you know what, let's buy something. These are the things to consider. You say, well, you know what portion of my life am I in right now? What suits that portion best? If you're in a portion of your life where building your career is massively important to you, well, being in the city, being in proximity is going to have higher priority than how big a garage you can get or the type of schools in the neighborhood, because these are things that don't even match. They would not be equal weighted considerations by any stretch. So again, this is why I stress alignment and I stress knowing yourself, because houses are great and condos and co-ops are great. What matters is what's going to be great for you. All right. Thank you so much. To wrap this up again, the idea is, why do people buy condos or co-ops and then consider they bought the wrong asset. Just to tie it up and to wrap a bow on this is because they didn't check with themselves first and find out where they were. And if they had done that, they've decided, hey, house is for me. Or maybe it would remove that, what's it called? Buyer's remorse. And they'll be able to see, oh, wow, I absolutely bought the right thing for me. It just may not emotionally feel like it in the moment because we're emotional creatures. And sometimes we don't feel so good about stuff. But if you check these things that I just mentioned in this video and you're able to see yourself and see what side of the line you land on, if you land on the condo co-op HOA side, you absolutely bought the right asset for yourself. And there's so much more. There's so much more to owning these and the benefits of owning one of these that I find my clients are not even aware of what they have. I tell them all the time, I'm like, you guys, you have no idea how great you have it, what a great decision you made. We'll get to that in other videos. All right.